How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer coming at you with another video. Man, it's been a hot minute since I put out a video, hasn't it? So, yeah, we've got a few things to talk about. A little bit of drama, a little bit of, what have I been up to? I got a funny story to share with you guys as well. Let's be honest here, there's not a lot to talk about this time of year. Obviously, the hot weather. We're enjoying ourselves outside, right? For the most part. We got people like Darius Truxton. It was 30 degrees in Canada, in Ontario on the weekend, and he spent his whole weekend streaming, ladies and gentlemen, away from the sunlight. He was inside with his online community. Sad little man, isn't he? Go outside and get some sun, Darius. It's good for you. It's good. It does the body good, my friend. Just stay away from those water parks. Oh, man. And what about that Geek Getaway Cult, eh? Dead and buried, folks. I think it's safe to say that Geek Getaway Cult is dead and buried. We haven't heard a peep from pretty well every single person within that little community. Dazed Gaming has crawled into a hole and died. Potion Sword Run has run out of ideas to talk about, right? Ninja Kitten, who knows where that guy is? Who knows? Hanging around downtown Toronto somewhere. Dead and buried. So the rest of us can get on with our lives, right? So, yeah, like I said, not much to talk about. One quick thing I did want to mention here, and I knew this was going to happen. So with my PS4 controller, I was playing on it last week, and I pressed the share button. And I always thought that these two little buttons up here, the share button and the, I guess it's the start button, they always felt really weak, like they were going to break. They're so tiny. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And I pressed the share button, and I heard like a little click noise. And so now the share button doesn't even, like, it works. Like, it's when I touch it, I guess I can get it to work. Can't even speak, but it's not going up and down. It's not clicking like a button press. It's broken. So yeah, I'm kind of pissed because yeah, sure, I can go out and get another controller. They ain't cheap, but yeah, I can get another controller. But I mean, this one goes with the limited edition. What is it? 500 millionth console. So now I got to go out and get another controller just like this because I'm OCD, right? Just like you guys. So, so yeah, I'm kind of pissed about that. Yeah, no, the Xbox One controller is a better controller, absolutely. After going through this, nah, the Xbox controller is a better controller, hands down. The other thing I wanted to talk about, we're right around almost the 4-minute mark, so we'll keep going here. Speaking of modern games, I've never been so disenchanted and sort of off-put by modern games. Lately, I've been playing so much of my Genesis, playing the PS2, a little bit of the original Xbox. Haven't really touched the 360 in a while. Really haven't touched the Wii U in quite a while. But I haven't really been itching to play modern games on the Xbox One, the PS4. It's just not really doing it for me. So, as far as a PS5 and an Xbox Series X console is concerned, we've talked about it before on this channel. I haven't ever been so disinterested in those consoles as I am right now. I really don't have any interest in buying an Xbox Series X. And one of the biggest problems, and Digital Foundry had talked about it last week, but I had already been sort of talking about it myself. It's so fucking ridiculous that these new consoles, I know they've been out for a while now, it's so ridiculous that you can't have the graphics at max settings and run your game at 60 FPS. It's either performance mode, right, or quality mode. Holy fuck. So if you ask me, if you're on the fence about getting a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series console, do yourself a favor and wait. Wait for the revision to come out. I'm sure the revision will be able to run these games at 60 FPS with quality mode on, so you don't have to choose one or the other. The mere fact that you have to choose one or the other tells me that these consoles are they're already outdated. Like, that's just so ridiculous that you have to choose one mode or the other. I could understand that on the PS4 or the Xbox One, the legacy consoles, but on these newer consoles to have to actually choose between the two because the consoles can't handle 60 FPS plus ray tracing and all the other effects, that's fucking sad, man. That's sad. That's brutal. So, yeah, I'll buy an Xbox Series console eventually when they come out with the next version of it, but I'm not buying this half-baked console that's out right now. No fucking way. I'm not going to go out there and get Starfield just so I have to choose between 60 frames per second or having the graphics tuned all the way up. If I'm going to play Starfield, I want to have the complete package. I want to have the best frame rate and graphics, right? You know, I don't exactly want to go out and buy a $5,000 computer, but I don't want to pay a couple $100 for an Xbox Series X and have this piss poor performance. It's fucking bullshit. They Microsoft and Sony, they might as well, they should have just came out with a console that was $1,000 that could somewhat compete with modern day PCs. Because to pay $600 or whatever it is for these consoles that are out now, and to have these games run half-ass, I'd rather just pay $1,000 and be able to run these games the way that they should be. They're meant to be experienced, right? So, yeah, fuck that. I'll wait for the new version of these consoles to come out. Even if they don't come out for another year or two, I'll wait. But, yeah, so that's all I wanted to really say about that. Not much else I can really say gaming related. I haven't been gaming a whole hell of a lot. I have been doing some speed runs here and there. The guy in the community, JFred99, that I've been talking about, where Alpha Nerd stole his gold medals in the speedrun competition for Outrun. JFred's been grinding day and night, all day, all night, and he's basically retained, he got his gold medals back. He's got the fastest lap times in the world. Once again, JFred99. And I was talking to Alpha Nerd, I was saying, well, you know, not to knock JFred, but if we had all the time in the world to be able to grind and do these, you know, practice runs and play games all day. Some of us work for a living, folks. But if you didn't have to work for a living and you could just sit at home and play games all day, then of course, you know, you'd be, whatever game it is that you're obsessing over, I would only imagine you'd be really good at it, right? Let's be honest here. So, yeah, other than that, I wanted to share a quick little story with you, and then we'll wrap this video up. You guys have all seen the movie The Cable Guy, right? I talked about that movie on a Movies on the Run episode a couple of months ago. Well, I had a real cable guy experience, believe it or not. I don't want to get into too much details, but let's just say a couple of weeks ago, I sold my Volvo. Now, if you've ever sold a used car, you know, for the most part, usually it's a pretty seamless transaction. You know, you get a lot of hagglers that show up. That part's kind of annoying. But then you get a buyer who's interested and they want to buy the car. Usually, you know, you negotiate the price. They agree on the price. You know, they'll give you a check or cash, whatever, if they're buying it as is. And then they'll take the car and they'll be on their merry way, right? You don't really have to engage with the person, right? So I sold my Volvo to this older guy. He wasn't too old, maybe early to mid 60s. And before I had sold it, he had looked at it and he was like, yeah. He's like, you know, he's like, I saw your car recently. I was in the area. I'm like, yeah, it was probably me. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm 99% sure I want this car. I just want to talk it over with my wife. I'm like, okay, no problem. And then he came by because, you know, in my mind he was going to pick it up. And he came by and he wanted to test drive it again. I'm like, oh my fucking God. He test drove it again. He's like, okay, yeah. He's like, I want to pick it up. And then he took off. And he's like, I'll be back and we'll finalize this deal. And then he starts texting, or no, not texting me. I didn't give him my number. We were dealing over the classifieds. He started sending me all these questions. His mechanic had asked him to ask me questions. You know, when was the timing belt last done? All kinds of stuff. I'm like, holy fuck. Is this worth my time? I don't know. And then I gave the guy the benefit of the doubt, excuse me. And then eventually he wanted to get the vehicle safetied before he bought it, and I was like, no, this is being sold as is. I'm not playing this fucking game. I'm not gonna take this car up to get safetied. I'm busy. I got other stuff going on. No, he said, no, I can take it up. I'm like, no. I'm not giving you my car when you haven't purchased it yet. Are you crazy? And then, so anyways, long story short, he did buy it. But he needed me to drive the vehicle to his house because he had to come out my way to give me the check. And then the idea was I'd get in the car and follow him. And then he'd drive me back to my house. We did all that. And I'm like, hey, I don't want to deal with this guy anymore. Get out of my life. And then he's like, oh yeah. He's like, don't you have a set of winter tires? Because I had the winter tires stored at my mechanic's place. I'm like, oh man, I got to deal with this guy at the winter tires. Okay. I'm like, yeah, I'll get the winter tires, and then, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll just swing by and drop them off at the end of your driveway. He's like, okay, yeah, no problem. So then, in the meanwhile, I bought another car, right? I bought a Mercedes C-Class. I talked a little bit about it on the channel. And then I dropped it off today to get the safety done. And I was out for the day, right? And then I came home, and the woman at the receptionist, she calls me. And keep in mind, the guy that I sold my Volvo to, he had asked me where he could take the car to. I don't know why he didn't want to just take it to like a local mechanic out his way because he doesn't live near me. And I recommended this place where I live, and that's the same place where I took my vehicle for the safety, right? And I didn't think much of it. And then, so anyways, the receptionist called me today, and she's like, yeah, your vehicle's done. It's ready to be picked up. I'm like, okay, cool. Oh, she's like, one more thing. She's like, there's someone here that wants to say hi to you. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, Mike? I'm like, I forgot the guy's name. I'm like, Mike? Who's Mike? The mechanic? Mike and the Mechanics? She's like, no. She's like, the guy you sold the car to. I'm like, holy fuck, what is he doing there? Why is he there? She's like, yeah. She's like, he's here right now, and he wants to say hi to you. I'm like, okay. So then I fucking went up the street to pick the car up. And there he is. And I go to open the front door, and he's holding it. He's pulling back on it, not letting me open it. Kind of almost like Jim Carrey would act in the movie The Cable Guys. And I walk in, and he's like, hey, Cam. And then he shook my hand, and I'm like, hey. I said to him, I'm like, seems like I can't get away from you. And the receptionist kind of looked at me like, I know what you're talking about. And he's like, yeah, there was an issue with the brakes. They didn't really fix it properly on the safety, so I had to come back. And then he started chit-chatting with me some more, and I'm just like, holy fuck, good Lord. So then I basically paid for, my safety there. And he kept talking to me, and what do you do in Canada today? And I sort of wrapped it up. I was like, yeah, not much. I'll drop those tires off soon, and have a good night. So I just couldn't believe it. What are the chances that the guy was there tonight when I went to pick up my other car? Kind of fucking weird. So yeah, I still have to drop the tires off. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it in the middle of the night so I don't have to see the guy. But yeah, it's just wild. You'd think it would be a simple transaction, and it's been a lot of back and forth. And I was hesitant to give the guy my cell phone number because I thought, once I sold the car, if I don't give him my number, then there's just no way he's going to be able to reach me because I'll take the ad down, right? But he wanted my cell phone to be able to communicate back and forth with regards to the winter tires. So I was like, oh, okay. So I don't think I've seen the last of this guy. I think this guy's going to be in and out of my life. I've got a new best friend. He's probably going to start coming over in the midnight hour asking for salt shakers and whatnot. So, so that was my funny story for the day. A little bit long-tailed. I do apologize, but sometimes it's hard for me to get the words out. But yeah, so that's it. Not much else going on. Like I said, when it is, nice out like it is right now, it's hard to really stay inside and game. At night is a bit of an exception. Obviously, at night, the mosquitoes are really bad outside, so it's a perfect opportunity to game inside. But like I said, I've been really sort of I guess you would say fallen in love again with the older games, especially the Genesis. Like I said, doing the speed runs. I haven't really had a burning desire to really play my Xbox One or my PS4 or even go out and buy some of these more recent games that have come out. I know The Quarry came out. It looks really good, but I just haven't been interested, guys. I've got other stuff on the go. You know, like I said, I'm still playing Ferrari Challenge on the PS2, and I'm still chipping away at my back catalog. I got so many games to chip away at, and I'm excited to get to them. I don't have time to buy more games and play modern games. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, yeah, that's it. If I'm not back with another video, maybe I'll put something out on Canada Day, but if not, it'll probably be a couple more days before I put out a video. We're getting into the weekend here, and like I said, I like to spend my time playing games and being outside, and it's less about YouTube this time of year, no offense. But I do see there's just not a lot of content to watch right now on YouTube, so I am going to try to push out as much content as possible. I am inching closer to 1,000 subscribers. I do not care about that whatsoever. But it is a bit of a motivation, I guess, to continue to pump out content because, as you see, I've slowed down over the last couple of weeks. And that's not going to help the channel out as far as subscriber growth is concerned. It is what it is. I haven't really lost anybody, but the channel hasn't really been growing that much either. So, yeah, so that's it. Right around the 17-minute mark. I'm going to cut it off here, guys. If there's anything else you want to talk about, leave it in the comments below, and I'll try to tackle it on the next video. So hopefully, probably do maybe a live stream this Friday with Marceau. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night. Take care.